Restoration Druid is quite an interesting healer to play. If you're healing in the War Within, this guide will walk you through how to play Restoration Druid in Mythic Plus. I'll cover everything you need to know to get started, using up-to-date information from Wowhead, with a special thanks to Volk, the author of the Wowhead Restoration Druid guide, for helping me to make this video. So your core toolkit includes Rejuvenation. This is your main hot, it's low cost, instant cast, and used to prep for incoming damage. Lifebloom, it's a high efficiency hot that blooms for bonus healing when refreshed or when it expires. Regrowth, a fast heal with a short hot attached. It's expensive, but later in the build, you'll make this much cheaper with talents. Swiftmend is a short 15-second cooldown that needs a hot to be on the target to work. It will deliver a strong direct heal and has some talent interactions we will explain shortly. Wildgrowth is for fast group coverage as it's an extremely efficient AoE heal. And Efflorescence is an AoE ground heal. You want this down 100% of the time. With Spring Blossoms, it adds extra mastery value by layering some more hots onto your Mastery Harmony bonus, which we will explain in just a moment. Of course, you'll also have access to powerful cooldowns like Convoke the Spirits, which shoots out a bunch of random spells depending on your target and Druid form, and Tranquility, a long cooldown channeled heal, weaker in Mythic Plus due to fewer targets, but still valuable in specific situations. So let's talk about our Mastery Harmony. All of your hots stack with your Mastery. The more hot effects you have on a target, the more your healing is amplified. Layering hots is your top priority for maximum throughput. Resto Druid healing takes planning. Your pain point as a healer is that you are slow to react to immediate damage. If some incoming damage catches you off guard, you might have a problem quickly healing someone back to full if they didn't have hots already up. Another reason you would want to bring a Resto Druid to your group is their utility. Restoration Druid brings high value utility and can contribute real damage in Mythic Plus. So if you don't use these tools, you're not playing the spec to its full potential. Innervate can and should be used on yourself for a large healing window. During Innervate, your spells cost no mana for the next 8 seconds. In dungeons, there is no one else to use it on except for yourself, so I would use it as soon as it's available and there is something to heal. Combat Resurrection with Rebirth is another thing Druid brings to the group. Granted, also Warlocks, Paladins, and Death Knights have one, so still only like 30% of the classes. But something no other class brings is the Mark of the Wild buff, which gives a 3% versatility buff to your group for 1 hour. This is one of the strongest raid buffs in the game. So now that we understand the core basics, let's see how our talents and hero talents build on top of it. In Mythic Plus, we run the Double Blooms build, a talent setup that lets you keep Lifebloom on 2 allies at once. This turns Lifebloom into your most efficient and consistent healing tool. 3 important talents support this: Undergrowth, which lets you have those 2 Lifeblooms active at the same time. Photosynthesis means that if you have a Lifebloom on you, your hots tick 10% faster, and if it's on an ally, every periodic heal on them has a 4% chance to make Lifebloom bloom instantly for extra healing. And Verdancy, when Lifebloom blooms, up to 3 allies standing in your Efflorescence gets a small heal. Next, we're going to talk about hero talents. For Mythic Plus, Wildstalker is the best hero talent tree. These are the 2 main effects it gives you. Thriving Growth gives you a chance to apply an extra dot when you use Rip or Rake, and an extra hot when your Efflorescence, Regrowth, or Wildgrowth tick. And Vigorous Creepers boosts both your healing and damage against targets affected by the dot and the hot from Thriving Growth. Most of your Wildstalker healing is passive and triggered by your usual healing and DPS rotation. No extra buttons or setup, just more value for what you're already doing. With Wildstalker, you set up your hots to keep your group healthy, then use your downtime to DPS. When the group is stable and your hots are ticking, shift into cat form and help with damage. And this is how you will go about it. First, if it's possible, go into stealth. Open with Rake to stun and to get the bonus crit. Always rake any target that doesn't already have the bleed. Thrash is your AoE bleed. Use it when there's 3 or more targets. Shred is your filler on single target or when you can't refresh, rake, or thrash. At 5 combo points, you would use Rip to apply a bleed if it isn't already up, or Ferocious Bite for single target burst if Rip is already running. Once your bleeds are up or healing is needed, drop out of cat form and resume your healing rotation. Small optimization tip for extra damage. When in your healer form, keep the Moonfire dot up to get another damage over time spell running on the enemy. This playstyle rewards awareness. Only go into cat form when your hots are already up and the group is stable. If someone drops low, you need to react immediately. And this is important. Timing your cat form DPS comes with dungeon knowledge. You'll figure out which pools are safe to DPS and which pools need your full focus as a healer. It's fine to learn the dungeons and start slow. Just don't force catweaving if you're not confident. Good timing comes with experience. Wildstalker is all about balancing your healing uptime with active damage contribution. You're not just sitting in the back spamming Regrowth, you're squeezing every little bit of value out of your toolkit and Mythic Plus. Restoration Druid and Mythic Plus is about what we learned so far all together, putting hots up on your party members, then switching to cat form to DPS when you can. But since Resto Druid is about periodic healing, you won't be keeping everyone at 100% all the time. If the damage isn't lethal, let your hots work and don't spam single target heals between every pull. Only step in when the group actually needs it. So knowing that, our first goal is to make sure no one dies in a dungeon. We would prioritize healing first, and this is a non-strict priority as you would constantly need to adjust your priorities and decision making based on the party's health, the incoming damage, and how much time we can spare DPSing without risking anyone. Our first priority will be to keep up Efflorescence. You should always have it active under your feet, and you would move it every time the group moves to a new position. It's your top source of passive healing. Then you would spread out 2 Lifeblooms. I recommend keeping up on 2 DPS players and refreshing them at the last 4.5 seconds for maximum value. Only keep one on yourself if you're the only one taking damage. Then use Regrowth. You'll cast plenty of Regrowths throughout the dungeon, not just when they're free or buffed. Regrowth is one of your main tools for spot healing in Mythic Plus, and it does a lot of the heavy lifting to keep your group alive. For maximum value, you would use Regrowth right after Swiftmend to get the Soul of the Forest buff. And with the Rampant Growth talent, helps Regrowth put hots on both Lifebloom targets. Occasionally, you'll get Omen of Clarity procs, which will make your next Regrowth free. And there's even another way to increase the value of Regrowth. You'll have a 1-minute cooldown called Nature Swiftness, which you can use on your Regrowths not only to quickly heal someone, but to be able to even use your growth in cat form. Nature Swiftness can also be used before using your battle res to make it instant. Wild Growth is another spell that can be empowered by Soul of the Forest. It's one of the most efficient spells we have, since it heals all party members and applies 5 mastery stacks at once. Grove Guardians is an ability you would want to use very often. Use it a lot as you have no reason to hold charges. The best part is you can cast them even in cat form, so use them during heavy damage or to cover you while you DPS. Another short cooldown that should be used quite liberally is Cenarion Ward. This is a 20-second cooldown that puts up a buff on the target. As soon as they start being damaged, they will automatically receive a large heal. Cenarion Wards competes against Abundance in our talents, so if you already have the tier set bonus, you might want to swap Cenarion Ward for Abundance. And Rejuvenation, this is your flexible, mana-efficient hot for prepping for big pulls or covering incoming damage. Because we're running the Germination talent, we could even apply Rejuvenation a second time on the same target for even more healing, mastery stacks, and synergy with Abundance. If you have all your hots up and people are still getting chunked, you can go ahead and use your cooldowns. Convoke the Spirits is a versatile spell that could help you quickly top up everyone in the group every 1 minute. Could of course also be used in cat form to deal a lot of damage, if you know there's no dangerous amount of damage coming in the next minute. Otherwise, if you have all your hots out and even used Convoke defensively, you can and should use Tranquility if people are still not topped up in heavy damage phases. Another ability that you would use situationally is Ironbark, an extremely good defensive cooldown that you would use on anyone to not only reduce the damage they take by 20% for 16 seconds, but also causes them to receive 75% of the healing from each one of your active rejuvenations. Restoration Druids rewards planning ahead and strong fundamentals. I won't sugarcoat it, this isn't the easiest healer to pick up if you're brand new or you don't know dungeon mechanics yet. But if you like preparing for damage in advance and enjoy dynamic, form-shifting gameplay, Resto Druid could be a great choice for you. The spec has a lot of depth and high skill ceiling, so there's always something to improve on every key. I want to give a huge thanks to Volk for helping me make this video. Definitely check out their Wowhead guide for even more details. And also thanks to JB, the rank 1 Resto Druid, for taking the time to review the script and sign off on it. If you find the guide useful, hit like or subscribe. If you have any questions, leave a comment down below. And as always, I want to thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.